We go. There is a moment in every life when you decide to rise, to stand taller than your fear, to speak louder than your doubt, to chase the vision that sets your soul on fire. This is that moment. And here, we walk it together with stories that awaken, voices that inspire, and truths that set you free. This is Positive Talk with Kevin McDonald, where hope has a voice, and that voice is yours. And welcome to the show, everybody. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. Have we got a show for you today? We've got a wonderful guest, and I'm going to have Rochelle, who is in the beautiful town of Salt Lake City, and she is going to introduce our guest in just a second. But Rochelle, how are you today?
I'm good, Kevin. I feel like it's a motivating Monday, so I'm rolling with that. And, just to start the week, knowing how big of an impact that you can have, not only for yourself, but people around you is really kind of the meaning of life to me. And so I'm inspired. And today we have the perfect guest to share that on and how she's impacting people, helping them live their best lives and knowing what's possible. So I'd love to welcome Dr. Melanie Gray. She has two websites. We're going to talk about both. The first one is drmelaniegray.com, empowering leaders, strengthening teams, and transforming organizations, which we know how important that is. And then the second one is Dr. Melanie Gray through the confidencecoach.com, where she helps you figure out how you can gain all of that for yourself. So welcome, Dr. Melanie. How are you?
Well, Kevin and Rochelle, thank you so much for that warm welcome. I love just being engrafted into the family.
Yes.
You are indeed. You are indeed. Because we are interested in helping each individual who listens to this show. And there are people, Doctor, that are listening to this right now that are thinking to themselves, I've been thinking about this all day. And now suddenly they get to be on the show. And it's just remarkable. So I want to thank you for that, because working with companies and working with people, the ripple effect of building confidence for people is just amazing. Have you found that in your work, that you can be working with somebody, but then it affects other people that are around them?
Well, yes, because everyone loves to see a transformation. And when people see that person or someone transform from someone that was shrinking or maybe didn't have confidence to now they're stepping up, they're developing their voice, everyone notices and they wonder, hey, can that happen to me? And it can. It's just a choice. And I think the listeners would like to maybe get their free tool on how to have confidence right on my website at the Melanie Gray, confidencecoach.com. And everybody likes free stuff, right? And the gift of us sharing with each other and pouring into each other is the gift that we bring every day, because everyone is a gift. That's my favorite thing to say.
And everybody is a gift, and it's remarkable, isn't it, Rochelle?
Yeah, it is. To see yourself as a gift for most people might be like, what do you mean? How do you exactly mean that? And when they realize they're a gift, does it help them maybe allow themselves to find that confidence?
Yes, because you have to value yourself. When we're living, we tell people how to treat us. We tell them the level of respect that we deserve by how we carry ourselves. We're the first book that people read. And so we have to be confident and validate ourselves. We can't look for it all to be from the outside. So the first thing is to know you're a gift. You're a gift. Look at me, I'm a gift. And so that's what you sing. That's your mantra. I'm a gift because God created me special, and I'm going to show you. Like, I'm from Missouri. I'm not. I'm from Wisconsin. But you just walk around like you're from Missouri to show me state. I'm a gift.
And by the way, have you recorded your voice in that song yet?
I have not. I've been thinking that I should. I'm a gift. You're a gift. Tell the world to look at you. You're a gift.
Yeah. We need to have you singing in the churches.
I can do that too. I've done that.
That'd be
That
awesome for you to record, because this idea of us being a gift to some people is, how you said it. It's kind of external. What is it like? Like, how are you supposed to see yourself from the inside as a gift, to
Well,
start that journey? Like, how did that
you
start
have
for
to
you?
recognize that everyone has to recognize that they have something to give. It is not about your
Mm.
past mistakes. It doesn't matter about your title. I think, first of all, we have to stop defining who we are by social media. And we have to embrace what we do. If you're good with kids, that's a gift. If you're kind to your family and you're taking care of your mom, you're a gift. It doesn't matter how many people you gift with your gift. Maybe you're in a stage of your life where you're caregiving, and the only person you can bless is the person you take care of. That doesn't make you less than a gift than someone who has a big business or a big title or makes, multiple six figures. I think we're benchmarking the wrong thing.
Mhm.
I couldn't agree more, because everything happens one person at a time.
One person at a time.
Even when you have a website like yours and you have a business like you have, it still is one person at a time.
One
And
person.
then that translates into, well, you've would you rather have $1 million or a penny doubled every day? So, Rochelle, which would you rather have, $1 million or a penny doubled every day for a 30
I'd
days?
say that I'd have to definitely lean on the penny, as long as I knew I was going to live long enough for it to add up to that same amount.
No, it's just 30 days, and you will double that
Yeah.
amount in 30 days,
That's true.
because it's one person who tells another person who tells another or they decide that they're going to become a gift to somebody else, and then that person, it's a simple pay it forward concept. Is that right, doctor?
Yes, we're paying it forward. We all pay it forward a little bit. We can pay it forward a little bit every day if we just smile, say good morning. We're looking for really big things where sometimes just having someone smile at you, wave, kind of positions your day, repositions your day if you're having a bad one. We have to start appreciating the small things. Everything, every blessing, every gift is not always tangible in dollars and material things, but it's what you give from your heart. Those are the things that can never be taken away.
I couldn't agree more. And by the way, I'm going to step out for just a second because my internet, I'm being told, is a little spotty. So I want the two of you to have a great conversation, and I'll be back just in short order. Can I do that, Rochelle?
Yes, please do. Thank you. And Dr. Melanie, I have
Yes.
to ask you, where did this journey start for you? What helped you realize all of this for yourself?
Well, I started off, if I go way, way back, Rochelle, I was that gorky, skinny kid who thought that everybody teased because I was gangly. They told me I was ugly. My nose was too big, the whole thing, right? But I had a mother who said, I don't care. You stand up straight anyway. I had a mother who said, I don't care what people say. What do you think about yourself? And I'm not going to lie. I went through all of the insecurities most people go through, right? Most kids go through. But I had my mother telling me, you stand up straight anyway. Now you fix how you show up, or you have to deal with me. So I didn't want to do all that. I wasn't like, no, Mom, I don't want to deal with you.
Yeah.
But I also, once I entered my career, I would always sometimes benchmark myself against people I worked with. But I was fortunate to have a coworker, and she said, Melanie, you should get involved in some meetings. You should start showing up at these committees. And when I did that, and I looked at her, I said, well, she sees something in me. Why don't you try it? And so that started my journey of really discovering what my gifts were. And so sometimes you have to have a journey in which you try some things, in which some things work and some things don't. But in the midst of having that being courageous intentionally, you will discover where your gifts really lie. And that helped me then continue on the next 20 or 30 years, building upon what I knew I was good at and not trying to do things that that wasn't happening, that weren't going to happen for me. Okay.
Yeah.
You have to have an honest conversation. That's not me. I'm never going to be that.
Yeah. Well, and to do that with yourself, how you mentioned, you said two things. You don't find it on the outside, you find it within. And the reinvention of that. I think a lot of us put these time schedules on ourselves where we say, oh, well, I'm too young to do that, or I'm too old, or, maybe there was things I was good at as a kid. With that reinvention process, you just really have to, what does that take? How do you know to watch what's coming forward and to what you're looking for?
Well, I think first you have to take the time to really do an assessment. I mean, we really know in our hearts, I think, what we like. If you like to read, if you like people, if you like working by yourself. I mean, you have to have that honest pause long enough to say, okay, where do I really sit? Or where do I really sit right now? Because those things evolve as you change and evolve. As I matured, I had more courage to do some things like at 40 that I didn't have at 20.
Yeah.
Right? Because by 40, I don't have to fall apart over everything.
Yeah.
Everything isn't personal. I will live. So
yeah.
Well, and I'm back, by the way, everybody. But Dr. Melanie, at one point in time, you will turn 40.
Yeah.
Yeah. At some point you will. Right? So you have to know that you will progress. You have to be willing to learn, be a lifelong learner, and you have to be willing to fail, and you have to be willing to know that you're going to have success, and you have to be willing for truth. Right? And we don't always like truth. We always only want the good. But you have to be able to take the whole package of life.
Well, and I couldn't agree more. But what I was specifically meant was one day you're going to turn 40.
Well, actually, Kevin, I'm on my third cycle of being 30. 20, 40. Yeah, I'm on my third cycle. I've come this way at least twice. I'm on my third run of doing it again.
Well, and I got to tell you, you are a marvelous soul and you're a marvelous spirit and you've got great energy. And we're just really excited to have you here. And Rochelle, we need to take our first break in a minute or so, but I would like for you to go through all of Dr. Melanie's information so that people can find her.
Yes. Before this break, if you want to check it out, drmelaniegray.com is where you will find help with empowering leaders, strengthening teams, and transforming organizations. Thank you, Doctor, for making that possible. Aside from everything else you do, if you yourself would like some confidence coaching, which isn't bad, go ahead and check out Dr. Melanie Gray, theconfidencecoach.com. And I want to talk about that a little more too, because as we learn that there's many cycles of transformation, right? You reinvent yourself so many times, but to keep the confidence at a foundation of wherever you go, I want to learn some tools and tips that you've learned along the way that help you keep your confidence alongside of you.
Thank you so much.
And we need to take our first break, and we're going to play something here. And it's Miss Morrison, and her first name, which Rochelle can pronounce.
Hyacinth
Morrison, and this is for her.
There is a moment most leaders never talk about. The strategy is sound, the team is capable, and yet something feels off. That moment is not failure. It's a signal that structure and humanity have drifted apart. Calm is often misunderstood. It is not passive. It is not disengaged. It is not soft. Calm is what allows us to see clearly when others react. This is the work I've spent decades doing, helping leaders navigate hard conversations with intention and guiding organizations back into alignment. If this resonates, you're not alone, and I'd love to connect.
And welcome back. There you go.
Yeah, I love my dancers. Get it, girl.
And Dr. Melanie Gray is with us, and Rochelle is with us, and I got to tell you, you are a vivacious, wonderful, energetic soul. Where did you get that from? Have you always been this way?
I think that I've grown to be more of what you see right now over the course of my life. I was always rather outgoing, but I think I'm probably a little, I would say, packaged now. Just because of experience. When I was younger, if it came up, it came out. And then I learned you really probably shouldn't do that all the time. Even though it was well-meaning, people didn't always take it that way. And then someone told me, Melanie, you speak with such authority wherever you are. And people don't always know how to take that from you. So then I learned how to drop my voice, be more slow, wait. So you grow.
Yeah.
But I've pretty much always been the same. In my heart was always for people, but I had to learn how to present myself so that I could be more approachable by all.
Makes sense.
One of the grand adventures of life is to have the experiences, both experiences, not so great experiences, but the total of which allows us to become who we really are. And it really is a great process. And so and I want to ask you this, for the younger people out there that are still not, they don't really get it and they're still struggling, they can know that through the experiences that they are gaining now, that this will help them over the course of their life to be able to help other people. Is that true?
Oh, definitely. Any young person, and for me, that's probably everyone who's under 65. But that's a lot of people. But the good news is that you have to know that you're on a positive, progressive perspective of life, and that your today doesn't have to define your tomorrow. You do, by the choices you make, by what you feed yourself. What do you do with your eye gates? What are you feasting on? Are you on social media too much? What are you doing with your ear gates? What are you letting into your heart, your mind? Are you watching too much TV? Are you listening to the wrong people? Because you are in total a combination of what you feed your heart, right? It's like if you don't eat well, you'll do what? Be sick. If you don't take care of have good nutrition, you won't do well. So what good, healthy eating are you doing to grow? So young people have to know, tomorrow, everything's not personal. You can make good choices. Your past does not have to define you. Now, it doesn't mean that you're not impacted by your past, right? Because trauma-informed living awareness is important to know. People have had traumas, but they have had maybe some challenging experiences, but the people who might not have been nice to you, you do not have to give them power over your entire life. You can choose to begin a new future. One of the best, a mentor counselor I knew, she told me once, she said, sometimes the best way to forget the past is to begin a new present. So you can begin a new present by controlling what you take in, what you listen to, what you read. Stop scrolling on social media. I believe all that does is build anger, build anxiety about and benchmarking your life against fantasies that people post. Decide for yourself.
And one of the paradoxes of life is that we all tell ourselves stories. And when we are watching social media and we're hearing stories from people that say, oh, my life is just grand and everything is great. Well, you know what? That's probably a story that's not really very true. And so when you're looking at those people and then you're saying, and then you're reflecting on your own life and you're saying, well, they're doing so well and my life is not as good. Your life is every bit as valuable as anybody else's. And you need to recognize that and appreciate yourself. I was asking Dr. Melanie, I was asking somebody just the other day. I said, what happens? What goes through your mind when you look in the mirror? And she said, I don't look in the mirror. And I said, and the reason is I don't like what I see. I said, that's where you need to start your work, because you need to start appreciating the person that you are. And by looking at yourself in the mirror and appreciating the individual who you are, that will change the direction of everything. Is that a great place to start?
Well, yeah. I mean, first of all, God didn't, and forgive me, but I'm a Christian. Hope you don't mind that. But I believe we were all created as a gift, and we were not all made to look the same.
Yep.
So I know that the world has this, model image of beauty, size 22 waist, you're 36, 22 or something like, I don't know. But we're not, I'm 6 foot tall. I have African-American, I have features that may be larger than others. It doesn't mean that I'm not pretty. I like me. I'm more on probably the Amazonian side than, petite little 5'5" person. But I'm okay with that. Oh, you, Rochelle, you're 5'5". It's okay,
I'm
baby.
5'1".
Oh,
110 pounds.
It's okay. You're 5'1" of grace and stature. Right. You're 6 foot in stature. You just packaged in 5'1". But we have to accept who we are, and it's not the mirror. You have to embrace who you are and love it. If you love it, people will love you too. I mean, really, it starts with you. And we're not going to all look the same. And it's about your heart, the character of your heart. We don't talk about character enough, Kevin.
You're right. And
it's
the character.
Yeah.
It is. And another lost word is integrity.
Oh, I love that. And accountability,
Mm-hmm.
Integrity and accountability. So when you look in the mirror, are you an integral person? What do you do well? Everybody can do something well. And if you're listening, if you hold a job, if you keep a roof over your head, you're doing some things well. You're winning. Just because everyone's not going to have a big mansion with 5 cars and 15 bathrooms. Look, you can only put your butt on one pot at a time in the first place.
Oh, by the way,
you can do better than that. I want to know you. Really.
Dr. Melanie, that is
I'm putting that in our notes.
Yeah, that is the t-shirt. You can only put your butt on one pot at a time. I love that.
Yeah. So do you need 5? I mean, at the end of the day, you sleep on one bed. You can put your head on one pillow. Do you need 15 bathrooms? Unless you're trying to have a house that's going to house the hungry. You want to have a place for children. You want to house homeless women or men or families. Why do you need so much?
Well, and the sad reality is that there are people who spend their entire lives working to get more stuff. As George Carlin says, you get stuff and then you put it in your house, and then you get more stuff and then you have to get a bigger house, and then you have to get a garage to put more stuff in, because and then you eventually still run out of places to put your stuff, but it doesn't serve you, and it doesn't.
But wait, and then you become older. And you have to leave the house to go to assisted living, and then which might be a couple of rooms. And then if you decline, then you get to be in one room, and all of your work, and could be in one room anyway. But what is the impact of your life? What do you want to be the legacy that you help people grow, that you got people on food, you help someone get off welfare, that you help someone go to college, that you read stories to someone, that you encourage someone to do better? What is the legacy that you really want to leave? It cannot just, I mean, it should, ideally, in my opinion, humbly, should not just be things.
Yes. And it
Things-
happens one day at a time by every decision and move we decide to make, right?
Yes, we move on a positive, progressive perspective, 1 minute, 1 hour, 1 day. Then the days become weeks, the weeks become years. But what do you do intentionally every day to get you to another path? Life does not happen instantly. Now, I know people like to go viral. Everybody wants to go viral. But, being viral doesn't mean that you're making any money, that it means that you just maybe went viral. But what do you really want to give? But ideally, you didn't get to that quickly. If you have a degree, it took you at least 4 years to get it. If you got a bachelor's, if you have a job, you had to go apply for a number of them, and then you had an onboarding. Life is not instant. There are steps that we have to take. We can't ignore them. And we have to do the work of life if we want to be better.
Exactly. And Dr. Melanie, I have to ask you, you talk about confidence, and there's all these things, right? Comparison and having integrity and having intention and gratitude to realize what we still do have, not what we're chasing.
Yes.
So in that bottom factor of having confidence through everything that you do, what does confidence mean to you?
Well, it means that I know that I'm doing my best. In every aspect of my life. I'm giving my husband my best as his wife. I give my mother her best, that I'm making good decisions around my life, that I'm developing my character, that I'm comfortable. Ideally, I better be at this stage. You get between on this cycle. I think I kind of got this thing that I kind of know what I'm good at, and I'm okay. Because you have to make a choice to be happy. I mean, your confidence is not a feeling. It doesn't happen because of fairy dust. It's a decision. I'm good.
Yep.
I'm good.
I love that.
I'm good where I am. I embrace where I am. I'm not seeking someone else's life.
That's a big one, Kevin.
It is indeed.
Someone else's vision.
Exactly. And one of my favorite things is I believe you also need to have a sense of humor about yourself.
Amen.
Because you're not always, I don't know if you know this. I mean, by now you do. Nobody's ever perfect all the time. And sometimes we do silly things. And you notice how I said silly things rather than stupid things?
Yes.
Because when you are saying to yourself, oh, I'm so stupid, I'm so dumb, that was just stupid of me, it's not that way at all, because then you're downgrading yourself. And rather than saying, that was silly, I wish I hadn't done that, but I won't do that again because I know that how silly that was, that's a completely different mind shift, isn't it?
It is. And your words have power. The Bible says the power of life and death is in the tongue. And who do you believe more than anyone? You know your voice better than anyone. You wake up with yourself. You know your voice. So your voice to you, the words you speak to your heart should be positive ones. I also think, Kevin and Rochelle, I often say to myself, if we had sitcoms and streaming shows on the kindergarten teacher, the garbage dispose worker, the electrician, the social worker, the single mom, if we would elevate the work and the places most people are in, I believe more people would be confident and content. And they say, oh, there are many people living a life that's me, and I understand why I should elevate and appreciate where I am in life. But unfortunately, we only seem to we don't celebrate integral, people who keep their word and have character. Unfortunately, we only seem to celebrate the celebrities, the people who are on the celebrity channels, or in the People magazine, or who are making on the million billion list. And that isn't where most of us live. Yeah. We have to celebrate everybody.
It would literally change our lives if we looked in the mirror and saw ourselves as that celebrity for exactly who we are. Whether we wake up, we're a little bit mad that day, we're a little bit sad, we're tired, maybe you have a lot of energy and you don't want to, whatever it is, but to celebrate it and give yourself that grace, it seriously does change your life. And it's not easy, but it's well done. And when we come back from this break, Doctor, I really want to ask you about things that you've learned, some tools, daily things that maybe people can do throughout the week to help them subconsciously start building this confidence without that one-step mind fear coming in and trying to change things when your subconscious is fighting it.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Perfect. Course.
That's a great question, Rochelle. And we will be right back after this quick message. And stay with us, everybody. It's just 1 minute and 10 seconds. Stay right where you are.
You're listening to Brushwood Media Network, the best in syndicated talk, news, and entertainment shows.
Are you looking for your daily dose of inspiration? Stay connected to all your favorite shows, music, and news with the Brushwood Media Network app. From Positive Talk Radio to Greatest Vibes Unplugged and so many more uplifting voices around the world, everything you need is right in one place. It's easy to use, too. Always available and designed to keep you inspired 24 hours a day. Go to brushwoodmedianetwork.com and download the app, and you will always have Brushwood Media available on your smartphone. Download it now and make inspiration and music and conversation part of your everyday. And welcome back to Positive Talk. My name's Kevin. Rochelle is right there. And thank goodness you're here, Rochelle, because you asked such great questions. And you had a question for Dr. Melanie Gray. And you want to repeat the question?
Yes, Doctor, I'm wondering, there's got to be people out here that are listening and they say, well, what have you found that works as skills and tools that we can use to work on this confidence in a subconscious way rather than maybe because you can tell your mind a lot of things, but we want to do it intentionally and not be fake, because you can tell yourself, oh, well, I'm happy. But if you're not, it's also okay to be that, to have your underlying confidence. So however you have to speak on that.
Oh, definitely. So happiness is a choice.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily a feeling. It's a choice that you make. It's a choice to embrace where you are and say, well, maybe I'm in this, for example, I'm in this small apartment now, but I'm going to accept that and find joy in that and take the steps I need to take to maybe get to the place that I really want to live. And I understand that based on where I am, there are some things I might have to do or do differently. The other thing is, for me, is my faith. My faith helps keep me grounded. It gives me a set of principles and values that I follow that give me confidence in my life because I live my faith. Thirdly, we have to live in forgiveness. We have to forgive ourselves from past mistakes. We have to forgive others that may have hurt us, because unforgiveness does have an impact on our hearts, our souls, and our health. I mean, it's been proven that people who don't live in forgiveness, they have cancer and other illnesses, hypertension and things that can come on. And then lastly, you have to give yourself grace. We make mistakes. Sometimes we make mistakes because we did something that we knew we shouldn't do, or we were unintentional. We're not perfect. So when we make mistakes, we have to give ourselves the grace to say, learn from this, and I'll get up. Donnie McClurkin had a song, we fall down, but we get up. We fall down, but we get up. And so we have to get up, because why wallow? And so those are the four things that I believe help me in confidence. Is grace, forgiveness, my faith, and choosing every day. It's not a feeling. We're not going to have fairy dust hit us and, whoo, I feel good. We got to stop this foolishness.
Yeah. Well, and correct me if I'm wrong, Melanie. So what you're saying is be curious enough to figure out what your values are, and that's what will help you move through your day and your
if
life.
you don't have any values, get some. That's where your faith comes in. Because if you believe in everything, you believe in nothing. And that's what you'll get.
Oh, damn. There's a hot mind for somebody.
And I did want to mention this, that when we talk about forgiving others, we are not necessarily condoning what they did, but you are letting it go, and you are not letting it affect you anymore, because sometimes if we don't forgive others and let it go, or as I always say, let it be, then it affects us in a myriad of ways, and it doesn't allow us to live the life that we were designed to live and that you help people create.
Yeah, absolutely. And I get it. I mean, one simple probably commonality is, why did I get the question I've heard? Why did I get the parents that I got? I'm like, I'm not God. I don't know. But you don't have to give them power over your entire life. You, at 20, don't have to keep drudging up the past into your 30s, 40s, 50s, or 60s. And please forgive my analogy. Can I just be real with y'all? Can I just speak? Can I be raw?
Please be real, sister.
I'm gonna be real, okay? So I'm a nurse. So this analogy, I just have to tell you, when we have when we go to the toilet and we have a number 2, we wouldn't dare reach into the toilet and eat our feces, right? Now that's graphic, because what? It would make us sick. We wouldn't reach back into the past, in other words, and feed on that. But every time you keep feeding yourself the negative, feeding yourself your past, mama didn't do that, daddy didn't do that, we didn't get Donald Trump money or something, why weren't we rich? Well, then you're eating it's like eating feces. You can't move forward and look back at the same time. That's why you choose. You get to embrace and create your next. You get to create a new future. Now, you might need some clinical help. Now, because there is a difference between encouraging and coaching someone to confidence and clinical, maybe needing real clinical help. But for myself, that's where I help people understand, you need to go see a licensed psychologist here, clinical psychologist here. I can't take you past understanding that you need to do that first. And then once you get that help, feel free to come back. But sometimes we need help. But the point is, you cannot look back and look forward at the same time. Make a decision.
Well, and doctor, and you've been a nurse for a long time, right?
A long time.
So,
longer than Michelle been on the planet.
Yeah. Well, and I can just tell you this: over that time, you've seen your share of feces. So I'm willing to that, and blood and guts and all that stuff. And bless you for the work that you've done.
Yes. 100%. And Kevin, I would love for you to share your analogy on having one foot in the past and one foot in the present that you say.
Oh, I'd love to. Years ago, in 2003, I was doing the show, and are you familiar with Gilda Radner?
I am.
And Gilda Radner died of cervical cancer, and one of the things that it was created was something called Gilda's House.
Yeah.
It is a cancer group, and if you have cancer or you are a relative of somebody, they offer you services and help so that you can get through it, because that's one of the more difficult challenges in life, is getting through cancer. And I had a gal on the show. She was a 4-time cancer survivor.
Wow.
And so she'd been through the mill. And I said to her, what is your secret to life? Because I know you've thought about it, because, when you're a 4-time cancer survivor, you're not sure you're going to make it till next week.
That's right.
And she said, well, when you have one foot in the past and the other foot in there, you're peeing on the present. Don't pee on the present.
I love that. Can I use that, Kevin, for one of my future talks?
I didn't make it. I just repeated it because that was, and it was like one of the most, and she was deadly serious too, but it was one of the most remarkable moments that somebody said that, because she had the experience of life. Don't waste the moment that you have because of the moment that you can't do anything about, or the moment that you don't even know is coming. So take care of yourself today.
Today.
Thank you for that. I had forgotten about that. I was going to thank you.
Yeah. Well, and it's so powerful, because coming from someone like that and being able to relate that to everything that we're going through in life, it doesn't define who you are by the circumstances you were given that you are not in control of. And sometimes, Melanie, it's hard for people to just surrender, to just be okay with whatever is coming, and to also be okay with whatever did come. But it's about how we're handling it, right? Because we can miss so much that is right there for us every single moment of the day.
Well, you're right, Rochelle. I mean, enjoying the sunshine, the ability to walk, the ability to be kind, the ability to have a good meal, the ability to sit in a Starbucks and have a thought or read a book. There are so many things that we do every day that we forget to celebrate.
Yeah.
Because we don't celebrate ourselves. I made it through another day of work. I did good. How am I going to take care of this gift then today once I leave? I'm going to enjoy a good meal. I'm going to exercise. I'm going to read a book. I'm going to spend some time with a friend. Give and it shall be given. And to understand that you are a gift, but you have to choose to be.
Yeah, that is true. It's all in choice.
And you can't worry about being hurt. That's the other thing I hear, Rochelle. Well, I don't want to. What if I get hurt? Well, so what?
That was me.
Hurting people hurt people. Everyone doesn't hurt you.
Yeah.
You have to be willing to try and give yourself that grace to try. And if you don't land well, try again, and you'll learn from that and land again. Try again.
Yeah. Maybe it's because we're scared of learning, because the more we know, then the more that we understand we do have control over. Have you found that can be scary for people?
Oh, definitely. What I ask young people all the time. When I say young, I mean those in the 20. I should say those in the 20 field. And many of them tell me that they're anxious because they don't want to make a mistake. Yes. And they don't want to feel dumb. And I'm like, but you decide that. You will make mistakes. When it comes to questions, the only dumb one is when you don't ask, right? So ask yourself some things in life. Take a stretch yourself. You have to be willing to stretch. And again, give yourself the grace to stretch and to grow. Kevin, I see you thinking. You are thinking aloud.
Well, I was just thinking of, everybody says that people like Thomas Edison were brilliant humans. He failed at creating the light bulb, according to him, 1,000 times, which means he failed, but he didn't stop. He didn't quit. He kept on going because every failure led to him being closer to being a success. And finally, he was able to create it. Many of us have a setback, or we fail at something and we say, oh, okay, I'm not going to do that again. But if it's your passion, then you should go for it. And then eventually you will be successful at it. Do you agree with that?
Oh, yes. And we forget about how many the people that became famous in their 50s. I mean, Colonel Sanders was in his 60s. He had 20 years at least of failed recipes before he created the recipe that we love at Kentucky Fried. Vera Wang, the designer that is so celebrated, she was told no by a lot of designers, and she didn't really launch and become big because she was 50. And I could go on with other examples of people who tried and tried and tried and didn't hit the pinnacle till they were much later in life.
Yeah. Well, and I would look at it, they didn't fail. They learned the ways that
and
didn't
they kept
work.
going. They didn't let the no define them. And most people don't tell you how many times they heard no before they got that one yes that changed their lives.
Yep.
Have you ever heard of the concept of the overnight success?
I heard about it. I haven't noticed it happen to many people.
Ain't no such thing. Even people like the Beatles, which is one of the biggest groups of all time, they were together for 7 years before they had any measure of success. And so they learned their craft and they would not quit and they kept on going. And that's kind of how we should do it. Now, earlier in the show, we talked a little bit about integrity. I want to play this piece about integrity as our last break.
Okay.
And we'll be right back. Here's another point to ponder from Positive Talk Radio. What is the easiest thing to justify? It is a small transgression. The one no one will ever see, no one will ever know. The tiny exaggeration on the expense report. The extra minute you took on your lunch break. The packaging you tossed in the wrong recycle bin because it was closer. In those moments, the question isn't, will I get caught? The question is, will I know? It isn't about avoiding punishment. It's a silent agreement you make with yourself when you choose to do the right thing. To return the wallet. To fix the mistake. To respect the empty space. You aren't impressing the world. You're earning your own respect. That small choice, made entirely in private, is how you build a life you never have to look away from. The only audience that matters is you. And welcome back to Positive Talk. We have the dancing team of Dr. Melanie Gray and Rochelle here. And, Dr. Melanie, I love that piece because the only person that you need to impress is yourself, rather than trying to get other people to be impressed by who you are. None of that ultimately matters, does it?
No, I'm a person of faith, and I'll be very transparent. I'm a Christian. I believe, in Jesus, and I believe that I live for him, right? So for me, my integrity comes through obeying his word and trying to live and become the best I can in that. But what I tell my students is that integrity is doing the right thing when no one is watching. I'm a nursing instructor, and I used to teach second grade. And it's doing the right thing when no one is watching, because you know in your heart, if you're off or if you're not. And I know that when we think about what we see in government, and there's no trust of government, there's no trust of people in authority, but it's not about them. It doesn't, they're bad. The negative or less than positive behavior of others should not define you. Again, this whole thought of letting the world or society or social media dictate who you are as an individual or color the gift that you are. You shouldn't let anybody create your wrapping paper.
Mm-hmm.
Did you say eat your wrapping paper?
No, you shouldn't let anyone create your wrapping paper.
Oh, gotcha.
Because you're a gift.
Goodness gracious.
Don't let anyone create your wrapping paper. You are a gift.
That's it. Rochelle.
Yeah. Well, and on top of that, it's this this false sense of identity. I want to talk about identity a little bit because we have so many things that will tear us apart from our true self. When you're finding your identity, you've got to be patient, right? It's not something that it comes to you one day, and that identity may change as your values in that change, and that's okay too, right?
It's okay, right? When I was a college student, my identity was that of a student. You know, some people were trying to graduate cum laude. I was graduating thank you laude, because I was just trying to work full time, keep a roof over my head. I said to myself, just get this paper and you have, because my undergraduate GPA was not stellar, but it was enough, right? It was enough, because C's get degrees. I'm just saying. And I said, I got my whole life to prove how smart I am. And so when I got past that, got my license, then identity became as a new graduate nurse, and how to figure that out, how to work, how to take care of myself. Then when I got married, I had to learn how to become a wife, right? And so as you go through stages in life, your identity does kind of change. But in the midst of that, I was still a person who liked to volunteer. I like to read. I used to sew really well. I never tried to cook. I don't never tell that lie. But you know, so, you know, you got to know where you land, where you don't. Yeah. And so over time, as your life changes, now right now I'm a caregiver. I'm a wife, I'm an entrepreneur, and I'm a caregiver for my mother and my uncle, who are 90 and 91. So you have to, again, give yourself that grace. You have to pivot. You have to know that you're on a positive, progressive perspective of life, and enjoy it, because tomorrow isn't promised. Enjoy your moment, the moment called today.
Amen. And if somebody is hearing this and they're thinking, you know, maybe I want to work with Dr. Gray. She could help me with some of these things, whether it comes to business or confidence. What kind of people do you work with, and how do you do that with both sides?
Yeah, so on the corporate side, I help businesses create cultures of wellness. As a trauma-informed care subject matter expert, I help them learn how to work with their teams and create cultures where there's emotional safety. On the individual side, I have Dr. Melanie Gray, theconfidencecoach.com, and I work with primarily women, helping them establish confidence, understand how to manage the hormonal changes through menopause, and just how to say no without guilt.
That's a big deal, Kevin. I think we all struggle with that, because me and Kevin talk about how if you aren't filling your own cup, you can't help somebody fully, right?
No, you cannot. And people, you know, we're always often afraid of the reaction that we'll get from someone when we say no. But what I learned over the time is that I was only as good as the last time I said yes anyway. So my no really meant nothing other than someone getting from me what they felt they deserved, and me not honoring myself. And I determined I wouldn't do that. I wasn't going to tell that lie anymore.
You need to establish firm boundaries for yourself.
Yeah.
So that you're not going to get pushed into things that may not serve you as well. And I don't know if you know this, but occasionally some people try and get you to do things that will serve them, but they don't serve you.
Oh, yeah, they'll want to serve themselves. Everybody thinks of themselves first. I mean, more often than not, people do, but that's why you have to be willing to set boundaries. And you don't have to give your yes right away. At least say, let me think about it. Let me get back to you. That's an interesting question. Let me check my calendar and get back to you. And I found that when I've put that pause in there, they don't even circle back. They went on to the next person.
That's because you weren't an easy mark, as it were. You were a little tougher, and they're going, wow, there's somebody else that I can convince. And by the way, Dr. Melanie, I want to introduce this gentleman to you, because he's working to change the world one meal at a time in Kenya. And Rochelle?
Yes. Hi, Samuel. Hi, team. He says, greetings, Brother Kevin, Sister Brichelle, and guest Dr. Melanie Gray. Receive greetings from Kibera Restoring Hope Center. We are watching and listening to you live. We love this program, Positive Talk Radio Show. And this is powerful to have you speaking on this, Doctor, because we're looking outward for all of this stuff. You and Samuel, me and Kevin, we've found that it is possible to have the reality of your choice by looking within, not what surrounds you. And so I love that you're here to share that message, not only with companies, but with people. You are so inspirational, and I hope you get the feedback that you deserve every day, when however that comes through.
Well, if I can help one person, then I'm good. That's always my hope. There's a really old song about that too. If I can help somebody as I travel along, and it goes on, but you gotta help somebody with a word or a song. And that's what I hope. That's what I hope.
Please tell me you sing to your patients.
You know, they used to call me the singing nurse. I sang that much. They did. That was my title, the singing nurse.
Well, and before we end this out, I have to ask you, Doctor, how do you structure when you, as a nurse, like I couldn't imagine when you can't help somebody, how do you go about handling that with yourself?
Well, you can always help someone. You can help them in their pain. You can help them in their transition. You can help them in their acceptance. Every help does not always mean we get the long-term outcome, but we can help someone in their transition or in their pivot or in their acceptance of where they are right now.
Kevin, you're really good at
that. Well, thank you. Are you familiar with what's the name of it? Robin Williams was in it, and it and he was, you know what I'm talking about. He was in medical school and wanted to be a doctor, and he gets called before the board because he had been helping people, and he said to the tribunal that was in front of him that was going to judge him, and they said, what if somebody had died at your farm where you were helping people? And he said,
oh, Patch Adams.
Patch Adams, thank you so much. And he said, look, we are just helping people with a kind word, with a compress. And as far as death goes, why are we so scared? Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose, but if you're taking care of the person, you always win. Seems to be the philosophy that you guided your life by. Would I be correct in that?
Yes, you're correct. I live by the moment with the individual, helping that person where they are. So in this moment, in this hour that we've had this conversation, my hope is maybe I said a word that encouraged someone right here. Hopefully I encourage you and Brichelle, Kevin. We have to take the moment. We're not promised tomorrow. But if we embrace ourselves as the gift that we are, maybe you have a beautiful smile. You're able to say kind words. You give where you are.
That's what it's all about. And I want to repeat your message, because you never know. My mother was 90 years old, and on Wednesday she went and played bridge with a group of ladies. On Thursday, she went out to dinner with another group of ladies. She was supposed to go to a birthday party on Saturday, and she didn't show up because she died on Friday. No warning, no idea. But you will really appreciate this, Dr. Melanie. We found her in her bed with the Bible open.
Amen. Amen.
So she read the book every night before she went to bed. She lived on Whidbey Island, and so she had the Bible with her. And while she was waiting for the ferry, she would always read. So that was the type of faith that she had. And so the good Lord said, "Okay, time for you to come home. We're bringing you home now, and you're not going to suffer. You're just going to go to sleep, and that will be that."
What a blessing.
So yeah, it was really a blessing. So I want to thank you for being here. You've been wonderful. And you're going to have to come back, and we're going to have to talk more. And Rochelle, you get to take us out, my dear.
Yes, well,
Go,
thank
Rochelle.
you. Doctor, I have to ask you, have you thought about writing a book?
I have, and I'm in the midst of it. It was pushed back a little bit because my mom and my uncle recently got ill, but I'm still looking to get it out first quarter of this year.
Amazing. Well, let's say that before the book comes out, come back on the show so we can talk about that and help everybody get a broader vision and view on everything that you've experienced to help them with their life. But Kevin, thank you so much for making this all possible, to have Dr. Melanie Gray come on and be able to share her story and her message. Thank you, Doctor, for just being exactly who you are, having these things available to have somebody be able to better their life in ways they don't know is possible. So if you're one of those people or persons, I guess that works, and you yourself are in an organization or with a business and you need some help, visit drmelaniegray.com for help there. And if you yourself need some help with confidence coaching, us women, we know what that's all about. Visit Dr. Melanie Gray, theconfidencecoach.com. And remember that you're worth it. We love you. There's people like us that have a little bit of knowledge in our own sense and believe that you are a gift. So
Yes,
see yourself that way. And I want to leave us with something that you said, Doctor, which is you are a gift. Don't let someone else have the power of creating your wrapping paper.
Nope, you're a gift.
Amen. We're going to use that.
Yes,
We're going to run with it.
Thank you, Dr. Melanie, and I hope everybody enjoyed this conversation as much as we did. And we'll see you next time. Thank you for being part of Positive Talk with Kevin McDonald, where stories inspire and voices remind us of what truly matters. May today's conversation give you hope, courage, and a reason to keep moving forward. And just remember, till next time, be kind to one another because each other's all we've got.